It's hard to believe that it's already the middle of summer and it's been really hot here. I've been putting my hair up more and more. We don't have AC in our old farmhouse, and I don't mind it. It stays pretty cool in here, really, because of the tall ceilings and the thick walls, but I cannot stand to have my hair down. And I've come to the realization that summertime might be the best time to have longer hair. And recently I've stumbled across this YouTube girl. Her name is Alex Gabori. I'll link it down below. She has just tutorial after tutorial after tutorial, all these really fun updos. And I'm realizing that the longer your hair is, the more fun you can have putting it up. But she gives really clear directions, and I tried out one of her styles here. I didn't do it quite right, so it looks a little goofy, but I'm learning and I'm really having fun with it. And a few years ago, I used to really dislike the summer in Kentucky and summer anywhere really, but here it's very sticky and I didn't like it at all. And I used to just every summer I would dread the summer, and I would when it did come, I would just spend the entire time it was warm and hot resenting it and wishing for the cool weather. And then a few years ago, I decided that I was going to shift my mentality about the summer, and I just did it really. I have tried to I've tried to shift my mentality about many things, and it can be difficult. It can take a lot of work or some. But with the summer thing, I for some reason I don't know where it came from. It was like an inspiration. I just decided, no, I like the summer. I am going to embrace it and I'm just going to go with it. And since then, every summer, I just tell myself I enjoy the hot weather. I enjoy what summer brings. I enjoy the summer fun that you can have because it's easier to be outside. I enjoy the growing plants. I enjoy putting my hair up because it's too hot to wear my hair down. I enjoy looking for light summer clothes, and it has pretty much worked. I have actually successfully managed to flip my resentment of summer into, I don't know if it's not my favorite season, but there's no season that I dislike anymore. And since I've done that, I've had a lot of conversations with people, and I realized that I'm not alone in disliking summer. First of all, I always thought I was sort of in a minority, but I don't know that I find that I hear a lot of people saying they really just like to be in the AC. It's not their favorite. It is my husband's absolute favorite season, and of course, children usually love summer, and I'm surrounded by children. But anyway, I just thought I would share that in case any of you are struggling with the summer, or I'm also interested to know, do you love summer? Do you hate summer? Um, have you tried to switch your feeling and resentment for summer into love and appreciation for what the season brings? It's something that I have found really, really helpful, especially living in an old farmhouse with no AC. But I would love to hear your thoughts on it in the comments below. Speaking of warm summer days, ironing on a warm summer day is it's pretty warm. I feel like so like a French laundress in a 19th century novel or something. But ironing is an activity that I really enjoy. I really enjoy taking care of laundry in all aspects. I always have. It's definitely my favorite of the household chores. So we have had a few quiet weeks at home here, and we have been caught up on the laundry, which is a wonderful feeling. We've been very behind just because we've been busy and out and about, but the kids have helped me a lot to get everything folded and put away and keep on top of it. And I find laundry is such a cycle. Like, if you can keep on top of it, then it's pretty easy to stay on top as long as you do a load or two every day, fold it and put it away. But as soon as you slip and let a few days go by, at least at our house, before you know it, you've got 6 overflowing baskets, and it starts to feel um, impossible. And then before you know it, you've got, you know, too many clothes to fit in all your laundry baskets, and it's like you need a total reset. So we have been doing a total reset. I think it took us about a week, but we've got everybody's laundry is put away. We've been doing 1 or 2 loads a day. And then my kids, almost all of them are old enough now that I can ask them or assign them to fold and put away 1 basket of laundry every day. And it only takes them about 10 minutes, and it really helps us all so much. And I still do the ironing. I haven't gotten to the point where I've taught the kids how to iron yet. I have a little bit with the older one, but excuse me. I'm still doing most of it, and I do enjoy it, and it's kind of my relaxed time. And I'll put on a show and just watch something and iron away. And I love having that stack of crisp, freshly pressed clothes at the end of it. It's really fun. I am still working on making a baguette now that I have got this baguette loaf pan that I just bought on clearance from Walmart. I'm really loving it. I can't believe I never had one before. And I am working really hard to get my baguettes into the beautiful, perfect shape, and it's been a fun challenge. Basically, I've followed the directions in my Artisan Bread in 5 Minutes a Day book, and what they recommend, of course I'm not doing it right here, I'm actually sort of cheating by rolling. So they recommend stretching your dough out into an oval and then folding one side in and then the other side in, and then pinching a seam down the middle, which I've already done, and then just sort of shaping it and working on getting those ends tapered. And so the ends, you want less dough to be on the ends and more dough to be in the middle, and that's what gives it that perfect shape. So I'm definitely not producing a perfectly shaped baguette every single time yet, but I'm getting closer and I'm getting better shapes every time I try it, and it's been a really fun challenge to do this. My next thing that I would love to get is a basket to hang on the wall, and then I would love to bake a bunch of baguettes maybe once a week, actually, or maybe twice a week, because you like them to be fresh, maybe even 3 times a week, but then store the extra ones in a basket that hangs on the wall. I think that would be really cool. So I've been looking around for baskets and thinking about where in my kitchen I could keep them. We try not to eat a lot of bread around here, and we don't do the sourdough thing that's so very popular right now, just because my children don't like the taste, and I'm not opposed to it. I might try to get back into it in the future, but I love the Artisan Bread in 5 Minutes a Day so much, and I've been doing it for so many years off and on. I'm pretty attached to it, and so it's hard to make a switch over to a whole other system like sourdough. And I really highly recommend this book if you've never heard of it. It's got fantastic recipes. You can make a delicious brioche, and it's all super easy because it's no need. There's no need to knead, which for me, the babysitting of the bread rising it's just hard to remember to go back and do things periodically. I don't have a flow in my day where that's part of my day. And I think the real key for any of these things is that it's just got to work into your day effortlessly and not take up too much space in your mind. Otherwise, you start to feel like you just don't have time to do it, and you don't, because it's taking up too much mental space. It's like when you see your browser and it's like, this website is using up a lot of energy or memory or whatever it says. I feel like they can be like that with homemaking and homekeeping tasks. And the best way is if you know how to do something practically with your eyes closed and automatically, then it's just sort of the flow of your day. And so this bread for me works into the flow of my day. ironing clothes works into the flow of my day, and it's not like these things came naturally or anything. It's just over years of of working in the home. Some things I've been able to work into a flow and do without it taking up too much mental space, and some things I haven't, and I'm always trying to add more all the time. And it kind of reminds me, it's similar to when I had my first child, and everything took so long. The learning curve was so steep, it would take me, all day just to care for him. Never mind doing laundry or getting anything ready for dinner. And I couldn't imagine, how do people do it? How taking care of one little baby was so much, so overwhelming. Fast forward to having twins, and then now we have 5 children, and the secret is that you become more skilled. You gain skills as you go, and these things become easier, and you can do more in less time, and it's fun. I feel proud when I think back to everything that I've learned, on all the skills that I've acquired since I first started out as a novice homemaker and a novice mother. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and if any of you out there are more in the novice stage. I feel like I'm in some kind of middle stage, and I don't think that I'm particularly skilled at all. It's just, just slowly adding skills and layering skills. But it does take time, and I didn't, like I've mentioned in other videos, it wasn't like any of these things were ever like formally taught or explicitly taught. They're just kind of things that you learn, or I did anyway, kind of on the sidelines. And then the big message is that what's really important is the formal schooling, the formal job, and then all the things with the home are just supposed to sort of take care of themselves, or the things you learn in kind of an oral tradition passed down from your mom. And that's fine, that's great, but I do sort of find myself wistfully thinking and wishing that I had learned some of these things in a more formal way, and maybe that I had more skills tucked away before I embarked on marriage and family life. Years ago, I cannot remember the name of this YouTuber, but she's a Mennonite woman who has a YouTube channel. I'm sorry, I don't know who it is anymore, but I ran across something she said about how, for her, people just marvel at everything that she could do, and she said, well, it just doesn't take up that much mental space for me, because a lot of these things I can do practically automatically, like canning. I don't have to get out a book and read the directions and teach myself as an adult, because I learned when I was a child, just working alongside my mother. And so that really stuck with me, and I do think that that's like the key, and the goal is, for me, is just to give myself some grace and add skills as I can, not expect to do all the things, but to slowly but surely incorporate more things into how I can care for my family and how I can care for my home. And the same thing applies to, it applies to really all aspects. It applies to homekeeping, which I consider that like cleaning and maintaining your home. It applies to marketing and cooking. It applies to decorating and arranging your home. And I just think, I can certainly make a lot more things from memory, or just kind of know how to put together meat and vegetables into a meal without a recipe. That was something that I didn't used to be able to do. I've learned how to paint a room. I've learned how to keep homekeeping tasks going in a cycle. So, but these are all things I've taught myself as an adult, and the process is ongoing. Anyway, what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna put together some carrots and onions and roast them, and then also roast pork loin for dinner. These are my favorite kind of meals. I do love, I have a shelf full of recipe books, and I do love to try new recipes. Ina Garten is one of my favorites. I've learned so much from cooking, so much about cooking from her. But I also love Julia Child and Mimi Thorson and The Smitten Kitchen. She has an amazing blog. She's I just love her cookbooks. And I also have an ebook called Cook Once, Eat All Week by Cassie Garcia, and she's I've learned a lot from her too. And I will get those out and try new recipes and refer to them. But just for like your basic workaday, Monday through Friday week, I can't do that every day practically. I don't think anybody can pull out a book and cook from scratch, like from a cookbook, all those days of the week. So the way that I handle it is I just sort of generally know that we need to have a protein and a vegetable and a starch, although the starch isn't even as much of a priority. Definitely the protein and vegetable for dinner. And I'm teaching the kids how to cook their own breakfast and fix their own lunch, especially now in the summertime when we have more time. But as long as I've got meat for the week that we can use, and I've got a good vegetable drawer full of really basic things like carrots and onions, and then this time of year we're getting a lot of yummy things in from our garden. Right now we're getting a lot of leeks. That helps me to just whip together a meal in no time flat, and again, it doesn't take up that much of my mental space to do that. The older I get, the more onions bother me. I keep my onions in the refrigerator, which helps somewhat when I'm cutting them up. They're not quite as irritating if they're cold. But I also have to burn a candle, and that helps too, just with the crying and stuff. That's a tip I got from Martha Stewart a long time ago. And this candle's okay. It really helps if the candle is right at your eye level. I find that is the best. But yeah, they just bother me. The older I get, the more they bother me. When I was a kid, I could cut an onion and not cry at all. Have any of you had that experience? I'm wiping my tears away here. So I've got tons of potatoes and carrots. I like to do an extra pan of roast vegetables. We just love them. It's just carrots and potatoes and onions, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt, and I will just put this in the oven right next to my pork tenderloin, and I just tucked a few potatoes around the pork too. They they cook in the pork juices, and it tastes really good. So, when I studied abroad in Spain, there were no clothes dryers anywhere. Everybody dried their clothes on a drying rack out the window or in their apartment. And my apartment, we had a drying rack exactly like this one. And we also had one that hung out of the window, but it was so rainy in the part of Spain where I was that we hardly ever used it. It was so rainy there that you would walk up and down the streets and you would see people with their laundry hung out, and they would have huge tarps of plastic thrown over the laundry to keep it from getting rained on. It was in the northwest corner of Spain, which is it's like the Pacific Northwest here where it rains all the time. And, but I didn't mind not having a clothes dryer at all. Now, of course, as soon as I got home to the States, I immediately just dried everything in the clothes dryer, just like we all do. But when I was a newlywed, we lived by an IKEA, and when I bought this drying rack there, it was exactly like the one I had in Spain, and I love it for just delicate things that I don't want to throw in the dryer, even to this day. Even in America, there's always a few things that you really just want to hang on a drying rack. And I always wonder, you know, I mean, I guess the power or electricity is a lot more expensive over there, and that's why people don't have dryers. But it's actually really nice. It's not that bad to hang your clothes out when you have a system and it's just like right there. And I kind of miss it sometimes. And I suppose I could recreate it here. But I don't like walking out in my yard to the clothesline. I find it very tedious, and our clotheslines are rusty and they need to be replaced. Um, so I don't like to hang things on them because they get rust marks. But it's funny how you can adapt so quickly, like from one to the other, just depending on your context. So anyway, for what it's worth, do any of you not use your clothes dryer? I actually have neighbors who don't use a clothes dryer. They hang their clothes to dry inside of their house in the basement. So I guess that, I could do it. And maybe one of these days I'll resurrect my clothesline. I don't know. There's really nothing like sheets that have been dried out in the sun. They smell so wonderfully delicious. And the sun is the best bleaching stain remover. If I ever have anything with a really tough stain, I'll try to hang it on the clothesline and see what happens. And a lot of times the stain will just come up. A summer project today is just reorganizing our Tupperware drawer. I have a love-hate relationship with Tupperware. It seems to multiply somehow, and we get to the point where I keep it all in one drawer and it just has to fit in that drawer. And if it gets to be too much, I will take it out. And it's fun to organize it. It's kind of like Tetris or something. I like to keep the lids matching with the containers, and I don't know, I feel like it's like socks. Where do the sock pairs go? Where do the matching lids and bottoms go for the Tupperware? It seems like every few months we get to the point where things are mismatched, and I am at a loss to explain it. So today I pulled everything out and I just decided I would match it all up, and anything that didn't have a match was just going in the trash immediately. So I guess I'm Marie Kondoing my Tupperware, and it was pretty fun. Then I got to clean out. This is my drawer where I keep it all, and I wiped it down, and then I put everything back like a giant puzzle. And it was really satisfying, and it only took a few minutes. I think it's important to have little tasks like that. They're just like oddly satisfying and quick and easy. They're like quick wins, quick homekeeping wins. So many things always take longer than we wish they would, or are more complex, but cleaning the Tupperware drawer, getting rid of stuff that just wasn't working anymore or didn't have matching lids, this was a quick win, and I was like unaccountably pleased with how little time it actually took. After that, the pork roast was done. It was time to take it out of the oven, along with the vegetables. I love these kind of oven meals where everything just cooks to this deliciousness and you just can leave it and come back in a couple hours and you have this awesome meal. So it was time to have dinner, and another day was winding down to a close. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and I will look forward to hearing in the comments all about your Tupperware and drying clothes, how you feel about summer, and all the rest of it. Take care, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.